Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Congregation Beth-El. Those of you joining us in the Kaufman-Schuckman Chapel, those of you joining us at home via the miracles of live stream technology. We celebrate this evening a little bit later as we will formally install our officers and our board for the next 2 years. We're looking forward to that. We begin our service on page 13 as we welcome Shabbat and we welcome the angels of blessing and peace as we sing Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Kadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzitchem Shalom, Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu.
We continue on page 5 as we welcome Shabbat with light, a blessing over our Shabbat candles, page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, le'adlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. We turn to page 25. As we move into Kabbalat Shabbat, the service for welcoming Shabbat, we sing the opening words of Psalm 96, page 25. We turn to page 49 for Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat, the opening words, Psalm 92.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. וזמר לשמך העליון, וזמר לשמך העליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. וזמר לשמך העליון, וזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות. אני אסור ונבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. וזמר לשמך העליון, וזמר לשמך העליון.
The Psalm for Shabbat invites us, and we turn to page 41 as we welcome the presence of Shabbat with the mystical poem, the mystical love song, Lecha Dodi. We will sing verses on page 41 and 43 and rise on page 47, face the doors to greet that presence of Shabbat. Page 41.
Hey בשמחה ובצורתו אמוני עם שיבולם בואי חנה בואי חנה לך דודי לקראת חנה אלי שבת לקבלו לך דודי לקראת חנה אלי שבת לקבלו.
Now that we welcome the presence of Shabbat into our midst, let us extend greetings of Shabbat Shalom to the ones around us. Shabbat Shalom. Madam President, Shabbat Shalom.
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב. שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
How good it is for friends and family to be together in harmony. How good it is to give thanks to God, to sing out to God's supreme name. So we continue on page 57 with the Baruch Hu, our evening call to worship. Please be seated. Let us turn to page 60. We'll read an interpretive version of the first blessing of the evening. Praised are you, God, ruler of the universe, who has ordained the rhythm of life. The day with its light calls to activity and exertion. But when the day wanes, when with the setting of the sun colors fade, we cease from our labors and welcome the tranquility of the night. The subdued light of the moon and stars, the darkness and the stillness about us invite rest and repose. Trustfully we yield to the quiet of sleep, for we know that while we are unaware of what goes on within and around us, our powers of body and mind are renewed. Therefore, at this evening hour, we seek composure of spirit. We give thanks for the day and its tasks, and for the night and its rest. Praised are you, God, who brings on the evening.
אלא חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Hu Lord Shemo.
המהרי ורבים.
As we've given thanks for the universal gifts of the changing of times and seasons, we give thanks for the unique gift of Torah. Page 63, Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים,
We turn to page 65 and rise for our affirmation of faith, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shem kavod malchuto le'olam va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לבבך, ושיננתם בבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם באורות ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
We continue silently on the following pages with biblical selections, concluding on 73.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Please be seated. We continue on page 79 with our song of freedom that Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang as they crossed the sea to the land of promise.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom b'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlemecha. Help us to lie down, dear one, our God, in peace, and let us rise again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. As we ask for blessings of divine protection, we ask for blessings of health. As at this moment our thoughts turn to loved ones who are ill, to those who suffer pain of body or brokenness of spirit, we send prayers of healing and think of the following members of our community and loved ones: Larry Baker, Sue Graham Baker, Brian Donor, Jeff Linderman, Pearl Regenstrife, Dan Linderman, Alan Norris, David Regenstrife, Carol Amendola, Sanford Schwartz, Marcia Goldfarb, Ruth Katz, Kevin Mendel, Jerry Kraft, Harry Marin, Diane Reisman, Ruth Pierce, Ali Fleischer, Lila Miller, Mike Sampson, Linda Burton, Carl Goodfellow, Steve Kirsch. If there are those whose names you would like to add to our communal prayers, please do so as my glance passes yours. pray for strength and healing, that all in need are restored to physical vitality and spiritual well-being. May this healing come quickly, swiftly, and soon. We join together in song with the words of our Mishberach prayer found in the back of your Shabbat leaflet to express our desire for a refuah shlema, a complete healing for those in need.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Turn to page 85. Sing the words of Vishamru from the book of Exodus. It declares Shabbat, the symbol of the covenant between God and the people of Israel.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We turn to page 87 and rise for a Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, בימה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיים וביומך ובחייך בית ישראל, ועגלה ובזמן גלים, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמרה לברך לעולם עולם בהנמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי תקודשה וניחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושלכתה ונחמתה דאמינן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We continue with the silent Amidah, which can be found on page 91 through 107. I'd like to welcome one of our past presidents. It's a bit of a surprise, but I'm calling you up, Carl Smith, to open the doors of the Ark during the silent Amidah. I invite you to use the words of tradition and the words of your own heart during these moments of silent reflection, page 91 to 107. You may be seated.
With much gratitude and pleasure, we invite our outgoing president, Todd Maurer, to share a message with us.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. I was thinking I'd lead off with a joke, but we did the roast last week, so I won't do that. We're here to celebrate an installation of a new board, a continuing tradition, but today is also an anniversary. Today is the 49th anniversary of Rabbis Dennis and Sandy Sasso in the rabbinate. Today. So congratulations. Mazel tov, Rabbi. And I didn't say that to get in his good graces because, I'm leaving. I'm out. So I just said the true goodness of my heart. So mazel tov to you, Rabbi. It's been a great pleasure to serve as president. And the greatest pleasure is the people you get to work with. It's a great board. A lot of faces here, some of people who have been on the board, and some of our new board members are here as well. And there's a long history of wonderful presidents that have led this wonderful synagogue of ours. And it's just an honor to be able to lead our board. And I will tell you briefly that we are in good hands. Cindy Harp, our new president, has a wonderful passion. I keep saying the word wonderful. See how excited I am? A wonderful passion for Beth-El Zedek. She knows all about Beth-El. She lives Beth-El. She breathes Beth-El. She will be an excellent leader. And she has an excellent core of officers. Rob Kirsch, Todd Katz, Dan Resnick, who have put in many years. And joining them, an old friend of mine from high school, Jennifer Rosenberg. I'm not sure I was cool enough for her to talk to me in high school or not, but I'm happy that she talks to me now and she's joining the officer corps, along with many other great officers. And one thing I will tell our board who are out here is there are a lot of past presidents, not just me, that you can call on that are here to still support this organization. We all serve because we care, and we care about our young people, and we care about making the experience here a wonderful, exciting experience, a positive Jewish experience for ourselves, for our children, and for our grandchildren. So if I can send you off with one thing only, our new board members and current board members, keep creating positive Jewish experiences, create a welcoming environment for our congregants to come and be together and pray and enjoy a long tradition of Beth-El Zedek. And I'm very excited for Cindy and her administration. And lastly, I'd like to thank Rabbi Hal and Canon Melissa. As an officer, you spend a lot of time on the bima, and in turn, you spend a lot of time talking to your clergy, because we're up here together, we're planning things, they're telling you, strategizing, logistics, and you get to know them as people, not just as clergy. And they are caring people that truly love Beth-El Zedek, and I think we're in wonderful hands with them. And we will miss Rabbi Dennis, but we know, he and I made a deal that he's not that far away, and he's still part of our community. And so we will always welcome him as a member of our congregation as well. Thank you very much.
So I should tell you, as Todd has mentioned, regarding the 49th anniversary of Sandy's and my ordination in a class of 8 dear colleagues, one of which lives in memory, that as we left the ordination ceremonies on that May 19th, 1974, the streets of Philadelphia were filled with cheering crowds. We could hardly get through. And of course, we thought that it was for us as we emerged into our new positions, but we quickly discovered that it was for the Philadelphia Flyers, who had just won the Stanley Cup. So Philadelphia was celebrating. Well, you have been hearing from me several times during the past weeks, but I would be remiss if I did not once again express my gratitude for the bountiful, incredibly meaningful ceremonies and celebratory send-offs of the past weekend. It would take me the rest of my retirement to appropriately thank everyone, so let the voice go out collectively this evening. Toda Rabbah. Thank you. Gracias. This is the last Board of Directors Shabbat installation at which I am privileged to officiate. I'm delighted to welcome the new members of the board, and I am grateful to those who have completed their term. I will carry with me the good memories of my collaboration with Todd and with Cindy, with Todd and with Rob and Dan, and now with Jennifer, and so many past presidents, officers, and boards. As it has been noted, it's been my privilege to serve with more than half the presidents that have led this congregation since its founding, more than all the previous rabbis combined. So with gratitude for the partnership and with appreciation for each of you individually, I would like to leave you with a few random parting thoughts, in no particular order of importance. Actually, I had prepared some of these remarks to be delivered at the annual board meeting last week, but which, because of all your lovely tributes during that session, I was not able fully to articulate. These represent thoughts that I have shared with you over the years, and I leave them with confidence and with love. You are elected to be the custodians of the purse strings of the synagogue. Please always lead from a philosophy of abundance and possibility, rather than from attitude of scarcity and limitation. Don't let the budget determine the vision and the mission. Let the vision and the mission shape the budget of the synagogue. The budget of the synagogue is Torah. It is a sacred document. It speaks for the values that animate the congregation. It is the way that you translate into deed the purposes of synagogue life. Where there is a Jewish will, there is a Jewish way. As we approach the holy day of Shavuot, the festival of Torah, let us serve the synagogue with the conviction that of all the institutions in Jewish life, it is the brain and the heart of Jewish communal living. Other institutions are of utmost importance. Significantly, they deal with Jewishness, the hows and the whats of Jewish living. The synagogue is about the whys and the what-fors of Judaism. Why be Jewish? What difference does it make? What life purpose does it serve? While you serve the synagogue in important, pragmatic, practical ways, bringing your skills and dedication to board and committee meetings, as Todd just expressed, please make your personal presence felt in the religious, cultural, social gatherings of the synagogue. Get to know the congregants and let them get to know you. And link your personal and home life to the rhythms, the remembrances, and the joys of Judaism by participating in the yearly cycle of the synagogue, and not only by invitation to Bima duty. If you let your children and grandchildren know that it matters to you, then it will matter to them. Remember that the synagogue is not a museum of Jewish life. It is a laboratory of Jewish living. Judaism is not only about past traditions, but also about the promise of the future, which you must plan and model in the present. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel reminded us that the answer to a spiritual problem is not an administrative solution. While we need and rely on your skill and business expertise in addressing the fiscal and the practical needs of the congregation, let us never confuse means with ends. The synagogue is not a corporate, transactional enterprise. It is a spiritual, transformative experience. Your charge is not merely to make the synagogue survive, but to cause it to thrive. Not merely to preserve Judaism, but to promote and advance its values in the lives of our members and in the general community. So I trust that you will continue to partner with and empower your clergy to make the presence of Beth-El Tzedek felt in meaningful, positive, lasting ways in the civic and interfaith life of our city. I know that you will keep Beth-El, as Todd reminded us, inclusive and welcoming, a sanctuary of hope for all in search of the joys of fellowship, the embrace of faith, the promise of a rich and meaningful life. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for your dedication to the noble tasks of this congregation. I am grateful for the gifts of leadership and friendship in holy partnership over the past 5 decades, and wish you, my dear clergy colleagues, Rabbi Hal and Cantor Melissa, our professional staff, so ably led by Shari Levine, the joys, the vision, and the rewards of being a Kehillah Kedosha, a holy congregation in Israel. Thank you. I leave with great hope. I leave with great confidence. Shabbat Shalom. The ceremony of installation is inside your Shabbat announcement leaflet. I'd like to invite you to turn to it as we announce the names of those who have been elected by the congregation and by our board to serve, first as officers and then as members of the board of directors of the congregation. As I call your names, I wonder if I can invite the officers just to come and stand on the bima, face the congregation so that you can see them, and those of you who are board members to rise at your seats for the ceremony. Our God and God of our ancestors, we invoke your blessings upon those who have been elected to lead and to serve our congregation. Cindy Harp, our president, Jennifer Rosenberg, our first vice president, Rob Kirsch, second vice president, Dan Resnick, Treasurer, and Todd Katz, Secretary. Our continuing board members, and if you are with us, please rise at your seats. Danielle Bone, Jenny Carmen, Margot Fox, Lauren Hewitt, Beth Clapper, Cindy Koplow, Caitlin Lubline, Janice Potash, Leslie Smullion, Lauren Sutner, Barry Fish as Foundation Representative, Amanda Siegel as Sisterhood Representative, our newly elected directors, Steve Auslander, Noah Dock, and Emma Law Opman. My dear friends, as you perform your duties, may you be ever mindful of the high purposes to which we are dedicated. Be faithful heirs to those who have preceded you and worthy predecessors of those who will yet follow. May your actions reflect strength and wisdom and bear testimony to the great heritage which you represent. As our newly elected officers and directors, may you strive to achieve your goals, and may you help to keep us too faithful to our tasks. Congregation would please read with me. Grant our leaders strength when they are weary, hope when they are discouraged, patience and perseverance when they face any obstacle. Bless them and those dear to them with health of body, vigor of mind, and serenity of spirit. May their labors reflect honor upon our congregation and our people, and may they thus bring glory to your holy name. Amen. And we invite those being installed to say the next paragraph together. In the presence
of this congregation, I accept the honor and the responsibility conferred upon me. I pledge to serve Beth-El to the best of my ability and to uphold its sacred values with dignity and integrity. I pledge my time, my energy, and my generous support to its needs and goals, and I will attempt to serve with vigor and to lead with humility. I will strive to act in a manner which will bring honor to God, our sacred Torah, and the household of Israel.
May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors and who in every generation has inspired men and women to lead our people, now bless our newly installed leaders. May they guide our congregation from strength to strength. May they fulfill our highest hopes. May they labor for the peace of Israel and all humanity. And together we say the Shehecheyanu, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Shehecheyanu, B'Kiyimanu, B'Higiyanu Lazman Hazeh. Praise are you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, who has blessed us with life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this day. Amen. And thank you all. And now we will have the pleasure of hearing from our newly installed president, dedicated teacher, volunteer par excellence, and new leader of our congregation, Cindy Hart.
Thank you, Rabbi. You know, a few minutes ago, Rabbi Dennis said to me, now you can do whatever announcements you want. But it made me sad because I always thought we did them together. I thought I was the lesser partner and like we were the Jewish Key and Peele. It's not the same. It's not the same with only Key or Peele. So, my husband Charlie once gave me very good advice, more than once, but this specific time is before I was supposed to speak at an event. It was a long time ago. And he was kind of exasperated. He said, just don't do 5 minutes of stand-up. You have attention, you have the ear of people who matter. Try to say something meaningful. I don't think he said try. I think he said say something meaningful, which was nice. And to his credit,
that's really great advice for a lot of situations and for times when he's here and when he's not. And I'm not saying that he ever says, "Do I have to go?" I'm not saying that he doesn't say that. And I'm definitely not saying that my family of men has never said to me, "How long do we have to stay?" As always, I stand here on the shoulders of all the presidents that have come before me, including the late, great Eileen Maurer, who was so encouraging and kind to me when we met in Hadassah 25 years ago. I have been privileged to work under Carl Smith, Steve Krell, Ellen Gabovich, Rebecca Geyer, Brian Naklis, Dan Fox, and of course, Todd Maurer. I learned a lot from them, but there's one thing I can't remember any of them ever saying. And it's what people ask me lately, either explicitly or they imply it, when they realize that I was going to be the next president of Beth-El. I hope that term doesn't end with this little talk. So I will tell you briefly what I always wanted to know from people, and that is why. Why do you want to do this? Why would anyone want to be president? So the short answer is a cheat, and that's because I really, truly love Congregation Beth-El Zedek. But the long answer, not that long, is that here's why. So I'm a relative newcomer to the Indianapolis Jewish community. We moved here in 1993, so it's only been 30 years. And people will say to me, like, "Oh, are you related to?" And I say, no, we moved here. And they say, "Oh, okay." So it took us some time to find a Jewish home for our quirky little family. So why did we choose Beth-El? Why is this synagogue different from all other synagogues? Well, first of all, it's the people, starting with my fellow congregants. Our synagogue is like a big varied vineyard or like a big mega supermarket. Whatever you are, whatever you're looking for, it's like grapes. There's a whole bunch of them somewhere, and you can find it here. Even we did. Who knew? We made friends. I won't name them, so I won't shame them publicly. But more importantly, we were always treated like family. Despite not being natives to Indiana or even the Midwest, we were welcomed, even embraced, in the religious school, services, the sisterhood, and really all other volunteer and social events. So congregants is one reason. Secondly, I love Beth-El Zedek because of its values. Now, for the last 47 years, Beth-El Zedek has been synonymous with Rabbis Dennis and Sandy Sasso. And both Beth-El Zedek and the state of Indiana are much better for that. They have made both places more welcoming, kinder, more accommodating to all, and more accepting to diversity. They have educated us by action and by example. Their passion for social justice has made us all intrinsically better human beings. The fact that one cannot talk about one Rabbi Sasso without referencing the other is very telling. I have never seen Rabbi Dennis without his including Rabbi Sandy in the conversation, no matter how brief. He rarely speaks of I, but of we, stating Sandy and I. Now, I don't think anyone credits her for his puns. Both Rabbis Dennis and Rabbi Sandy emphasize the interconnectedness of people, our shared fortunes, and they extend their world of two right through our liturgy in the Kaddish. When we say blessings for our congregation, for the Jewish people, we always include, and all the inhabitants of all the earth. Everything that Rabbis Dennis and Sandy do reinforces their belief that we are all here for each other. We are one. While Rabbis Dennis and Sandy embark on new adventures, we can best honor their legacy by continuing their work for Tikkun Olam through outreach to other communities, but also our own. It's a challenging time in the world today. It's always a challenging time. That just makes it more important to show up for ourselves and each other. And there's more than one way to do that. There are almost as many ways to participate here at Beth-El Zedek as there are members. You can come to your favorite event or a new to you activity. You can even come to services. But just come for something. Just come and make your voice heard and share yourself the way both Rabbis Dennis and Sandy have. Finally, I love Beth-El Zedek because of the staff and the lay leaders. We here at Beth-El will continue on in the extremely capable and excellent hands of Cantor Melissa and Rabbi Hal. We're lucky to have them as well as the entire staff, and we've always been really lucky. 10 years ago, I was planning my first bar mitzvah for my oldest child, and I talked to poor Gail Halpern so often that I used to dream about her. I think she probably dreamed about me. I don't know that she called them dreams. Her very worthy successor, Sherry Lip-Levine, helms the truly glorious staff of Bonnie Craig, Kelly Butler, soon to retire Sharon Hine, Jennifer Hodes, Alex Siegel, and George Kelly. Willie Hall and the maintenance staff cannot be overpraised. During snowy months, I pull into the pristine parking lot, and I just wish Willie were in charge of the whole world, especially all the city streets. Our building is beautiful and well-maintained. The best way to head a board is to surround yourself with people smarter than you. That's good news for me. Wasn't hard to find. I have the brilliant and capable executive board of Jennifer Rosenberg, Rob Kirsch, Dan Resnick, and Todd Katz. And we are supported by our committed creative board. So these are some of the reasons that I am proud to be the next president of Congregation Beth-El Zedek. It's a big job. The pay is low. When people ask me why I want to do it, I'm going to tell them the truth, and that's out of gratitude. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Well, as we give Todd back to Linda, we thank Charlie and the Harp Boys for lending us Cindy for the next couple of years. She has already been on loan for a long time. So thank you, Cindy, for those beautiful words, and thank you all who have accepted to serve with her, and thank you all who are Congregation Beth-El Zedek and our emissaries to the community. The cantor will sing a lovely song about the meaning of this holy place. The words are printed in the back of your Shabbat leaflet, a song of Debbie Friedman, the noted songwriter.
These are the gifts that we bring, that we may build a holy place. This is the spirit that we bring, that we may build a holy place. We will bring all the goodness that comes from our hearts, and the Spirit of God will dwell within. These are the prayers that we bring, that we may make a holy place. These are the visions that we seek, that we may build this Beth-Zedek, the Asuni Mikdash, B'shachanti betocha. Let our promise forever be strong. Let our souls rise together in song, that the Spirit of God and the Spirit of love will dwell within.
Let us turn to page 119 for the Kiddush and the Motzi. We rise, and let me invite Todd to come up again, and Cindy, and they will hold the Stanley Cup, the Kiddush Cup, and the challah for the blessings. Who wants the Kiddush?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafet.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'rafsavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu ba'arta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'anim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinachaltanu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu, Baruch Shema.
Mekadesh HaShabbat Nachayim.
You hold it. And we join in Hamotzi, and this is for the harps tonight.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Take some challah.
It's eating.
Can't say it. Can you take a piece? Okay. Te'avon. Enjoy. Let us remain standing as we take note of the days that will soon bring us to the holiday of Shavuot. Page 675 for the blessing of the counting of the Omer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer.
Amen.
Hayom arba'a ve'arba'im yom shehim shisha shavuot u'shnei shamim la'omer.
This is the 44th day, making 6 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. Please remain standing. We continue with Aleinu, page 121.
Aleinu l'shameach l'Adonai kol l'atid gedula le'otzeh brishit shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo samach Elokeinu kahem v'kol Aleinu k'kol hamono ha'anachnu borim u'mishacharim l'motim שאלות שמיים ויוצא, הארץ המשווק הרבה שמיים במערב. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך כל הארץ ביום ההוא נהיה אדוני אחד
on this night of installation, let us honor the memory of all those presidents who have served Beth-El Tzedek, who are no longer with us, as we remain standing as a congregation. On this Shabbat, we also honor the memories of those who have died in recent days and weeks: Jane Kosofsky, Harriet Liba Krell. We keep them in our hearts alongside those for whom we mourn, those the anniversary of whose death occurred during the past week, as in loving testimony to the faith that links the generations, those who mourn and all who remember, sanctify God's name in the words of the Kaddish. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'olma divra kir'ute ve'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uve'yomechon uve'chaye b'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'le'olmei olmaya, yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar troman ve'yitnaseh, ve'yithadar ve'yitale ve'yithalal shemei dekudsha berichu, le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata, tushbechata ve'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehei shlamar Rabbah min shemaya, ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. May God, the source of peace, grant comfort to all who are bereaved, peace to Israel, to all humanity, and let us say amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to invite our new president, Cindy Harp, to make announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'll think of you whenever I do announcements,
Why am I associated with announcements?
because I kind of ramble on, and you, in the back of me, you say, just read the paper. So we can all leave. They're very short, and they're emphasized to be. These are short. Please join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in the Albert Slotkin Library for a discussion on the week's Torah portion. Superhero Tot Shabbat is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Enjoy an action-packed morning with Rabbi Hal. Confirmation and Erev Shavuot Festival Service, Thursday, May 25th at 6 p.m. The festival service and special cantata led by the confirmation class, followed by a special oneg. That's 3 specials in one sentence. Wasn't me. Shavuot and Yizkor service is Friday, May 26th at 10 a.m. Please check the announcement leaflet for more information on these and other upcoming events. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Cindy. So Shavuot is one of those services that are or is very special. And I know that generally just the members of the family show up, but it is an opportunity for the congregation as a whole to relish, to take pride, and to see what the young people in our synagogue accomplish, how they share their experiences of the confirmation year, their trip to New York, and how they prepare themselves under your tutelage to be leaders of our congregation. So I encourage you to keep in mind those cycles, those schedules, and be part of them as best as you can. What are we going to sing, Cantor? Oh, yes. As we move from Passover to Shavuot, it is traditional to study from the rabbinic text known as Pirkei Avot, the teachings of the ancestors, the sages, and this is a teaching that you all know because you have all sung it in one way or another. Al Shlosha Devarim, the world stands on 3 pillars. Al HaTorah, on Torah. That doesn't mean just study, on the life of Torah. Al HaAvodah, worship, and Gemilut Hasadim, deeds of loving kindness. Let us rise and sing together Al Shlosha Devarim. It's on page 839 of the prayer book.
Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha
שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
שבת שלום.